But moving on to topic number 6, and that's the Patriots and Justin Fields. And man, it seems like that relationship has been increasing over these last few weeks. And with the draft coming up next week, we figured we'd drop a few draft topics in there because I know we're excited for it. So the potential of Justin Fields fitting in for the Patriots, and is Justin Fields the right fit for the Patriots?
I don't see why not. I mean, the Patriots, no matter who they draft, unless they got Trevor Lawrence, which isn't happening, I don't think whoever they draft is going to play right away. Because you got Cam Newton in there. It's again going to be a short offseason. I think they want somebody to start the season who knows the offense now. Cam's going to have better knowledge of the offense this season. You have a lot of new pieces on the offensive side of the ball with your new tight ends, a couple new receivers. They're probably going to draft at least one receiver, if not more. They might draft another running back. So you need somebody on the offensive side of the ball that can kind of help guide everybody else with the offense. So I think Cam Newton's going to start out there. So you don't have to force any of these guys to play right away. So I think a guy like Justin Fields, even a Trey Lance, I think would be awesome for the Patriots. They need to look at the future of the quarterback position because after Cam Newton, who knows what they think about Jarrett Stidham still. They might still like him, but I got to think they're either going to trade up and get a guy in the first round, or they're going to pick up a guy in the second round, like a Kellen Mond or a Davis Mills or somebody of that nature. But if you really want to find your next guy of the future for this Patriots football team, go up and get him. I think they should just take the picks that they have and go up and try to get Justin Fields. You also, if you're the Patriots, you're probably not going to have a better draft pick than 15 over the next few years. Your team's going to be good. They just spent a lot of money in free agency. Depending on what they do with the rest of the draft, I think this is going to be a good team. They're going to be better than 7 and 9. So they're probably going to be picking in the 20s, if not better, next season and maybe the season after that. So if you're this close, right, and it's a lot easier to move up from 15 into the top 10 than it is to move up from, say, 25 into the top 10, you got to do it now. You're not going to have to give up as much draft capital to move up. You've got 5 quarterbacks who people think are first-round talent. There's some people who don't think Mac Jones is. We can probably get into that next week. But I'd love to see them go up and get Justin Fields. I don't think they would go up and trade for Trey Lance. I think Lance just does not have enough reps as a quarterback. He's only got like 20-something starts as a high school and college quarterback, which is not a lot. Where Justin Fields, he just started 2 years at Ohio State on top of what he did in high school. So he's got a lot more time behind the quarterback. You have a little bit more on him. So if you really like him, go up and get him. And I think the Patriots should try to do that next week.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where Fields, I think, has really been looking to bust his draft stock up even more. He held a second pro day last week where he was still making other throws and doing other skill drills. And the Patriots sent 3 scouts to see that second pro day. So I think that's what really draws the eyes a little bit, being like, wow, is this the right fit? Are the Patriots looking to move up because they're, falling in love with them and sending all these scouts to look at every little thing and to come back with a full draft report to say, hey, this guy is worth moving up or we should stay at 15. And I think that's exactly what that move was for the Patriots, to have that additional look to make that decision. And Bill Belichick clearly came out and said he's going to let the draft board kind of fall out the way it is. If there's a player that they feel is kind of dropping down the line and it maybe gets to 7 or 8 and they feel like a player is still there, that they could make the move to move up in the draft and grab that player that has dropped down their board. But I think this is also one of those things where we've talked about it in the past. This could be a smoke and mirrors play where the Patriots might have their eye on somebody else entirely, right? And they're just trying to make you think that they're going after Fields. And it's the same thing. Is Fields even going to be available after the 3rd pick? We've talked about it. San Francisco probably going to go after a quarterback, and we all think it probably is going to be Justin Fields. So it's one of those things where we're talking about him being the right fit for the Patriots, no doubt. He's the right fit for the Patriots, a young mobile quarterback that can play in Josh McDaniels' system, has a great arm, is still developing. You can still get a lot out of him. You can get a ton of years out of him. So this is a right call. And in my opinion, behind Trevor Lawrence, I think Justin Fields is the best quarterback in the draft. And I know a lot of people want to bring up Wilson. They want to bring up Trey Lance. I don't believe it. I don't see it. I think Justin Fields is the best quarterback behind Lawrence in this draft. And don't get me wrong, I've been watching a lot of Trey Lance over the last few weeks because I wanted to see what the hype was about and what everybody was talking about. And I'm telling you, I've seen a lot of improvement, but I still have a lot of questions. And I still have a lot of questions on if he can do it at this highest level right now. The one great thing is he's being trained by Quincy Avery, who is a private quarterback trainer that also trains Deshaun Watson and Josh Dobbs and a ton of other NFL quarterbacks. So I think that is clearly going to help Trey Lance in his development to not only get ready for the draft, but to become a better NFL quarterback. And he's clearly going to get drafted. But yeah, Justin Fields, I think, is the guy. That's the guy that if I'm going to go move up to make a pick at quarterback, if I can't get Lawrence, which obviously he's going number one, and I'd love to talk about Lawrence next week too, because I think it's debatable, is he going to have a great NFL career, to be honest? But right now, I think he is the best pro-ready player at that position, and that's why he's going to go number one overall. But I think Justin Fields is not that far behind him, right? And like I said, this is a mobile QB that brings just something totally different to the game. We've obviously been seeing it a lot over the last few years with Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Deshaun Watson. And I think this is another player, if you give him some development, he can fall right in line with those guys. So I'm really looking forward to seeing if the Patriots are going to move up to try to make a move for a guy like Justin Fields. But it's arguable if he's going to be there. Like I said, I think the 49ers are going to pull the trigger and draft Justin Fields number 3 overall. If they do not, though, then it's game on to see where he goes and if the Patriots will move up into maybe 5 or 6 or 7 to try to draft Justin Fields and get that young ace up your sleeve.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. I still can't picture the 49ers trading all that draft capital to then go up and get Mac Jones when they could have possibly gotten him at 12. But, I think that some people think they can take him and throw him in the system right away, and he can just run the Kyle Shanahan system. I don't know why you'd give up all that draft capital for just that, but we'll see what they do. They could be right. We'll see what happens. This draft is going to be awesome, and we're going to keep talking about it for the rest of the show, but also next week's going to be a big draft show because it's going to be the night before the draft, so it's going to be a lot of fun for us. But folks, as we keep talking tonight, make sure that you follow us on YouTube. Give us a subscription to Comeback Sports. You can also follow Brandon and I on Twitter. You'll see our Twitter handles in a few moments at the bottom of the screen. And also at the bottom of the screen, also check out that voicemail number. Right now you can call us at that number, leave a voicemail, and we'll play it back on the air if it's a question about some sports topic that you want us to talk about, or if you want to make sort of a statement about something, we'll then kind of talk about your statement as well when it comes to sports, and we'll make sure that we discuss that also, what you want to talk about. We'll make sure we play it on the air, your name, what you want to talk about. It's all going to be right there. And then in the future, we're hoping we can actually have a call-in feature to this show that we can actually have people call in live, which is going to be a lot of fun.